Imagine this. There's a small pizza shop in your city. Great pizza. Long lines. Everyone loves it. People post it on Instagram. Food bloggers rave about it. Friday nights, packed. But behind the counter, things are falling apart. The oven is old. Orders get messed up. Staff keeps quitting. Marketing is basically hope people show up. The owner is exhausted. The shop needs better equipment, better systems, better staff, maybe even a second location. But here's the problem. Growing costs money, and the owner doesn't have it. Now imagine a group of investors walks in and says, "We love your pizza. We think this could be 50 pizza shops. We'll give you the money. We'll bring in experts. We'll help you grow. But in return, we want a piece of your business." That, in its simplest form, is private equity. Today I'm going to explain what private equity really is, how it actually works behind the scenes, why it creates massive wealth, and why it has such a bad reputation. No finance degree required, no fancy jargon, just real explanations. Let's go. What is private equity? Let's start with the basics. The term private equity sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple once you break it down. Private on it means not public, not on the stock market, not traded on the NYSE or NASDAQ. No ticker symbol, no price updating every second on CNBC. Equity wash means ownership. So when you put the words together, private equity literally means owning private companies. That's it. Private equity firms raise money, use that money to buy companies, when work on those companies for a few years, and then sell them for more than they paid. Think of private equity like this. It's house flipping, but instead of houses, they flip businesses. They buy a business that's messy, inefficient, under-optimized, then they clean it up, improve it, grow it, and eventually they sell it. Same concept, just much bigger numbers. What kind of businesses do private equity firms buy? Here's something most people get wrong. Private equity does not usually buy startups, brand new ideas, risky experiments. They don't want the next big thing. They want businesses that already work. Private equity firms usually buy companies from founders who've spent 20 to 30 years building something and want to cash out. Families who don't want the next generation running the business. Big corporations selling off smaller divisions. Businesses that are profitable but poorly run. And these companies usually have a few things in common. They're often profitable, boring, stable, predictable, not famous examples. Car washes, dental practices, HVAC companies, logistics firms, accounting firms, software you've never heard of, warehouses, packaging companies. Not sexy, not exciting, but very reliable. Private equity loves boring businesses. Why? Because boring businesses usually mean predictable cash flow. And predictable cash flow is everything. It means you can plan growth, borrow money safely, forecast profits, reduce risk. Boring equals beautiful in private equity. How private equity actually makes money. This is where it gets really interesting. Private equity doesn't make money by luck. It uses a very specific playbook. There are no three main ways. Private equity firms generate returns. When improving the business itself, the first lever is operational improvement. Private equity firms bring in experienced executives, professional managers, consultants, systems and processes. They might replace a founder who does everything, introduce real accounting systems, professionalize hiring, renegotiate supplier contracts, improve pricing, fix marketing, streamline operations. A lot of founder-led businesses are great products, but poorly managed. Private equity turns chaos into systems, instincts into data, gut feelings into strategy. The goal is simple: make the business more valuable. Using debt strategically. This part is critical. Private equity almost never buys companies using only cash. They borrow money, a lot of money. Here's a simple example. A company costs $100 million. Instead of paying all $100 million, the private equity firm might invest $30 million of its own money, borrow $70 million from banks. This borrowed money is called leverage. Why do this? Because leverage amplifies returns. If the company grows and is sold for $150 million, the debt gets paid back. Whatever is left belongs to the investors. That $30 million investment could turn into $60 million, $90 million, or more. That's how private equity generates massive returns. But there's a catch. Leverage also increases risk. If the company struggles, the debt doesn't disappear. This is why private equity can create huge winners and massive failures. High risk, high reward. Private equity doesn't hold companies forever. There's always an exit plan. Typically, after 3 to 7 years, they sell. They might sell to another company, to another private equity firm, or to the public through an IPO. This moment, the exit, is when the real money is made. Everything before that is set up. The exit is the payoff. Where does private equity get its money? Here's another thing people misunderstand. Private equity firms are not investing their own money. They're investing other people's money. They raise money from pension funds, retirement systems, university endowments, insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds, ultra-wealthy families. These institutions give private equity firms billions and say, "Here's our money. Go invest it. Bring us strong returns." In return, private equity firms charge a management fee plus a percentage of the profits. This structure is often called 2 and 20, 2% management fee, 20% of the profits. That's why top private equity partners make millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions. They're managing enormous pools of capital. Now let's talk about the criticism. Private equity has a reputation problem. Critics say private equity cuts jobs, loads companies with debt, raises prices, reduces quality, prioritizes profits over people, strips assets, extracts value instead of creating it. And sometimes they're right. There are cases where private equity took on too much debt, cut too aggressively, pushed companies too hard, and caused long-term damage. But supporters argue the opposite. They say private equity saves struggling businesses, brings discipline and structure, invests where others won't, creates stronger companies, helps businesses scale faster. The truth, private equity is a tool. In the right hands, it builds great companies. In the wrong hands, it destroys them. It all comes down to incentives, leadership, and execution. So let's bring everything together. Private equity is buying private businesses, using other people's money, improving operations, applying leverage, and selling companies for profit. It's not magic. It's not charity. It's not evil by default. It's capitalism on steroids. And now the next time you hear the words private equity, you'll actually understand what's going on. Now here's something that might surprise you. Private equity is everywhere. Even if you've never heard the term before, you've probably interacted with a private equity-owned company today. That gym you go to, that doctor's office, that software your job uses, that parking garage, that storage unit. Chances are, private equity owns it. It quietly sits behind the scenes, owning huge pieces of the economy most people never think about. And that's what makes private equity so powerful. It doesn't live on billboards. It's not trending on social media. You don't see it advertised, but it quietly owns the infrastructure of everyday life. The places you work out, the places you get treated, the services you rely on without thinking twice. Private equity isn't chasing attention. It's chasing cash flow. It looks for businesses people need, not businesses people talk about. And once it finds them, It stays in the background, optimizing, consolidating, scaling. Most people never notice it's there until prices change, until ownership changes, until decisions suddenly feel different. That's the real reach of private equity. Not flashy, not obvious, but deeply woven into the economy we all live in. If this made sense to you, hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Subscribe if you want more videos breaking down money, business, and investing in a way that actually makes sense. And comment below, would you ever want to work in private equity?